And kind of as I've been saying as we've gone along, some setbacks are a lesson and they strengthen you. And you may not realise that until you're in a situation where you require that experience. But experience life and encourage others to do the same.
Welcome to another episode of Bigger Than the Hustle podcast. And now I've got a guest with me who's got a really interesting backstory. I'm not going to go into it because we are going to talk about that during our 45-minute conversation. But I'm going to introduce him and let him introduce himself because I'm sure he'll do that better than I can. So his name is Kofi. Hi, Kofi.
Hi, Bhavik. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. Not bad at all. Sun's shining. Got to be happy.
You have to be happy, especially in the UK, right? When we get sunshine, everyone's happy, right?
Definitely.
So I'm going to hand over the microphone to you. If you could just introduce yourself and what you're about, and then we can go into the conversation from there.
Hi, I'm Kofi. I've worked in marketing for over 20 years. Did a very sort of traditional thing of going to uni, getting a job, trying to sort of climb that career ladder. And some of the rungs on that ladder broke. At some point, the ladder was taken away from me. And I've got into a situation whereby, like a lot of people, COVID took my job away. So I started my own business in marketing. And what I do is provide marketing services for other businesses. Now, having been in the game for 20 years, I've been through print, websites, email, social. So I arrive with a degree of experience. And a lot of that is from losing jobs or losing an opportunity and having to start again. So you learn and you progress and you end up having an amount of experience that can help other people.
Yeah, fully agreed. And what's really interesting is the times when a lot of the time we have a trajectory, don't we? We think we're going to do things in a very linear way. It's going to be like this, be like this. And then we get a hurdle put in our way, whether that be losing our jobs, whether that be just losing interest in what we're doing and then finding another path or doing something completely different. Now, if we rewind a little bit back to something you mentioned there. So you said that you finished university and you went into marketing, and obviously marketing looked completely different to what it does now. What was it that gave you the interest to go into that in the first place? And then what has given you the interest to stay in it through all these changes that have happened and continue to happen?
I think the number one thing is I like to talk. I'm a storyteller. I like to tell people about what's going on. I know that, I could be in a bar with people and someone asks me a question and they say, are you about to get a PowerPoint presentation out? Because I just like to describe and discuss things. And I think that is what is my interest in marketing. To me, marketing is storytelling. It's telling someone about a product or a service or a thing or an experience to engage them and get them interested so that they come along and try it or buy it or get involved in it. So I suppose that's my natural aspect, is to give people information or describe something. And so marketing to me works perfectly for that. I think also I've got a very, I did sciences at A-level, but I did a humanities degree. So I've got that sort of left brain, right brain thing. So as a marketer, I like the numbers and I like the pictures. So I'm about both. I love the creative side of the words and the pictures and how are we going to create something that's going to engage people. But I also like a spreadsheet. Okay, is this working? How many people clicked on that? How many people came from there? How many people converted? So I like to look at the numbers and I like to create nice pictures as well.
That's very rare, Kofi, to like both sides, right? I know I'm more of the creative, so I like coming up with the ideas. I don't necessarily like to see if they're working or not. I just like to come up with them and then roll with them. But I know there's other people that love working with data, with data, but are not very creative, but they're very good in the data analytical side. So you having both, I think that's that's quite unique actually to see to have, first of all, have both sides, but actually have an interest to use both sides to tread your path and to live your path through your business. Now, you mentioned earlier as well, so you were in the marketing industry working, and then you lost your job, and then you decided to start your business. Now, if we rewind to that moment, if you didn't lose your job, do you think this business would have been created?
Well, my path isn't that straightforward. I need to explain some other things to really give you a full answer. And that is that my first job out of uni was at Boots. I'm from Nottingham, so like many people in Nottingham, I worked at Boots. So I worked at Beeston, and I was in the marketing department looking after the gift guide. And the gift guide back then, this was 1999, 2000, big catalogue. We printed 13.5 million of them, and everyone flicked through to find their gifts for their mum and their brother and their sister and their dad and all that kind of stuff. And so we were looking at Christmas stuff all year round. And we had to fight to put boots.com within the guide. We wanted to put the URL on every page, and we were pushed back to put it on every other page. I don't think people are having that fight anymore. More so, there aren't any catalogues. it's just the .coms. But I was at Boots at a time when it was taken over, and the organisation that took it over felt they needed to make a cut in personnel. And 5,000 people were made redundant at that time. And I'm sure a lot of people in the East Midlands will remember that. So, very early in my career, I've been working for 2 or 3 years. I had to go and find a job in a situation where 5,000 people around me had also lost their jobs. So there weren't many jobs going in the East Midlands. Something I'd wanted to do for a long time was work for an airline. And I actually took an agency post doing admin at BMI. And even the recruiting agency was trying to talk me out of it. Said, you'll be earning X an hour, and you were earning this. And I said, it's all right, I'm in the door. That's where I want to be. So I think I was working at BMI for about 3 months, as I say, doing admin. And I was opening the letters for the head of marketing. So I would open the letters, I'd have a quick scan, and I'd give my perspective on things when I'd give her the letters. And I think she got to realise that I wasn't just someone to open the letters. I knew what I was talking about from a marketing perspective. So I got a role as an assistant marketing exec, then rose to be a marketing manager at BMI over a period of time. Before I went on to another role at the Youth Hostels Association, which was about developing activity programs for young people and marketing those, which was very interesting. But the government changed. So this is when Labour were in power and the coalition came into power. The coalition put less money into young people's activities and schools, and my job disappeared. So I was made redundant. So, right, I'd learned about retail, I'd learned about airlines, I'd learned about activity programs, no job again. This is when I went to the Arena in Nottingham and got the role as the marketing manager there. I was there for 4.5 years. It was run jointly with the council, and at 4.5 years, I had been brought in to raise up the marketing team and give them an identity and get them to really be positive and progressive. And the council wanted to save money. I was told I'd taken the marketing team to a point where they could do the job themselves, and my role disappeared. So again, redundancy. I now look back and see that was a compliment. If you can make yourself redundant, that you've given everyone else the empowerment and the skills and the knowledge, and you're not required, that's a good thing. But at the time, it didn't feel good. So I, through someone else in the music industry, found out there was a role in Liverpool that I may be able to do, and I moved to Liverpool. So having grown up, lived in Nottingham most of my life, I lived down south for a few years, which is where my accent comes from. but having grown up in Nottingham most of my life, I moved to Liverpool and was working in a very similar role in the arena here. Now, I was working in leisure, live music, live performance, hospitality, entertainment. As you can imagine, during COVID, that all disappeared. So again, I'm left high and dry. But because I had been high and dry before, I felt I could cope with it. And I felt, okay, whatever comes along, I've moved house, I've changed jobs, I've learned about new industries, I'll be okay. And actually now, I've got 21 years of experience in marketing. And as you asked before, through a change in time from print to websites to social, and what's always kept me interested is there are new things happening. There's new ways of talking to people, new ways of communicating. But sometimes you still need a poster and a leaflet. Sometimes you need a tweet and an Instagram post. But I suppose because I've been knocked down several times and I've always been able to get up, starting my own business didn't feel like it was that big a deal. I know how that sounds, but I've been knocked down several times. So I thought, well, I'll just do my own thing now.
Yeah. And what was a couple of things I picked out that story, which you just said to me, which I think are huge insights, is when you first took your job at the airline, BMI, when they said to you, oh, it's a post beneath you, to go in. But you knew that once you had your foot through the door, there are different ways that you can approach that role, right? And being close to, in effect, the decision maker of the organization, you're going to have a direct input into that feed to show that what your worth is. And I think, especially for young people now, especially graduates, for example, I know they're given a tough time right now in the COVID situation, but pre this, it was, okay, so I have a degree, so my position has to be this. But I've always said, especially with young people that I've helped mentor and coach, is once you've got your foot through the door, you can choose what you want it to be and how you show up to the role, and you can make yourself the person to go to with whatever skill you have. But you need to get into that door. You can sit here all you want, saying I'm worth this, but you're worth nothing. Your value is nothing until you start doing something, right? So I think that's a huge lesson. So hopefully there's a takeaway from the young people listening in terms of getting close to the people around you, the space that you want to be in, especially if it's something of skill. Just start practicing getting into that role, right? The other thing you just mentioned there is about learning from all the times which you've had highs and lows, and having a business was just another step in the process as opposed to a big decision, because like, well, I can do it, and if it doesn't work, I'll just do something else. And it's great to have that mindset of non-attachment, not having this big thing of I need to do this. Because when you have the energy of need, I think clients see that as well. And when a client sees that this person needs it, I don't really want to be around that. And it's an energy space, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's the last element of my business plan. The final, I used a template to build it, and the last part of that template is, what are your alternatives? What is your backup plan? And I just wrote, get a job. So if all else fails, I'll go get a job.
It is true, and it is that light, isn't it? It can be so heavy at certain times when you feel, especially, obviously everyone's circumstances are different. I get it where if you're responsible for 4 children, you're the only income earner, there's a different level of responsibility, right? But when you can have an air of lightness about a certain situation, we can treat life so heavy at certain times, and at certain times we don't need to. Just the less we are heavy about it, I think the more opens up to us and the more opportunities we see in the world, right?
Oh, definitely. And I think, you're right. We all have responsibilities. The older you get, the more they are, and the more complex they are. And while, I was able to move house and, I wasn't in a relationship and I didn't have kids, I still had a mortgage to pay. And, moving house and then, trying to get hold of some money to put a deposit down to go and rent in a new city and get started again. and then, all the things that entails, you leave your friends and family behind and you kind of start again. So, yeah, there are commitments and there are considerations, but it is, as you say, about how you see those things, in your mind, and you have the power to change your mindset. So, you can see them as problems, and classically, you can see them as opportunities. You can decide. And I think there is a point that, a lot of people come to whereby they realize, actually, I'll make the decision. It's not great. It's not nice. Things aren't in the way that I want them to be, but I'll make the decision. And actually, I'll say that, okay, this difficult time is going to allow me to grow, to learn, to have an opportunity, and to move forward. You don't always have that linear path of get a qualification, get a role, climb the ladder, get to the top and cheer. That doesn't happen. But as long as you, I think, have that positive mentality that, okay, whatever happens, I'll be able to deal with it, and I'll make, I'll be positive about it, then I think you can't fail.
And it's having that thought process of, like you said, rather than seeing it as obstacles and hurdles, it's just another puzzle I need to solve, whatever that is, I try and use the word puzzle as opposed to problem, because problem seems to be quite heavy, whereas puzzle, you can solve it. Your brain works out a way to solve it, right? It's essentially the same thing. It's just there's an old phrase of, there's nothing new under the sun. We as people have been going around and doing various things for a long time, and new technologies come along and there's new ways of doing things, but our issues are the same issues that everyone's had, and we've been able to push through. Whether that is, I need somewhere to live, I need somewhere to eat, I need some friends, I need a partner, I need whatever that might be. They're not things that are insurmountable. Other people have done them. Yeah. So you can do it as well. And then, like you said, so when you need to eat, you also need to know when not to eat and when not to have friends and when not to do things, right? So it's
make decisions.
It's true. And also something you said about adapting and adapting again and adapting again. Us as human beings, we are Homo sapiens, and Homo sapiens only are here. We weren't the smartest or the strongest. We just adapted to our environment, and we kept adapting and they kept adapting. And that's why we here, whether you see it's fortunate or unfortunate, is dominating the planet. And I know for a lot of other species, it's not that fortunate that we are here dominating this planet. But this is the reason that we've survived as a species, right, over the last 2 million years. And it's just, we have to, I think, give ourselves more credit for our ability to adapt and adapt again and adapt again, especially as entrepreneurs during this time. COVID has just shown us that unless you adapt, you are just going to get either stuck in your ways or you're going to die, especially within the business world, right? And this ability to adapt, which I see in all entrepreneurs, is that we find a way. Whatever comes in front of us. I know even within my business, I've had my business over 20 years, and every few years, I've had to learn to adapt and adapt again. I'm in the home technology space, and that's just continuously moves on. So unless you adapt and adapt again, you will die, because that's just the nature of not just business, that's the nature of humanity as well, isn't it? About us as people. The person that I was at school is not the person I am today because of that same process, right? Now, Kofi, if you could give some advice to anyone that's listening right now about who's in a situation where they're not really loving their job, they're not really, lit up about working and things, but they have a little burning desire inside them. They like knitting, or they like to go out and walk dogs, for example, but they can't see, anything in their environment is telling them, you can't do this, it's not for you. What kind of things could you give a little help on or a little tip on to get them out of this, to say, you need to come into the world with the best way the world needs to see you, which is as a happy person doing what you love?
I think the key is passion. If you've got a passion for something, that will drive you through brick walls. And so if your passion is knitting, if your passion is walking dogs, then do it. And, and I don't mean get out of your seat, leave your job, and then, build a website and start your business, because it's not that simple. Because absolutely, you still need to pay your bills, and you still need to have fun and go out and see your friends, and you need money and time for all of those things. So it may be, just, as we're talking about, have that side hustle. Start small. Knit for some friends and family. See if they like those things. Post something on your social media. I've made this. Do you like it? Do you think anyone would buy it? What do you think could work? Walk your friends' dogs. See if they appreciate that they've got a bit of spare time to be able to do something, and their dog's getting that exercise. So start small and talk to people. Find out what's working, because as a marketing person, it's the customer that tells you whether that thing's going to work or not, because it's the customer that buys that thing. You can sit there and think, oh, I'm brilliant, I've designed this and I'm talking about it in this way. But if your customers don't feel it's brilliant, it doesn't matter. So whatever you've knitted, or where you decide to walk their dogs, whether it's the park or the beach, or if you've got toys or you've got balls, or however you're doing it, work out if the dogs like it. Ask the owners if they think, is it good that I take the dog for an hour? Do you need half a day? Are you at work for 8 hours? Do you need a bit of a changeover during the day? What works for you? And then you can start to build your business, because customers like this. Dogs appreciate that. People who want knitted products want it in this way. They want it delivered online, or they want to see a picture of it, or they want to see it as it's being made, so that they're getting that anticipation. So you can start small, do your side hustle, and find out from your customers what's working. And then when you do want to make that leap, or you do start to make that transition from I'm employed to I'm self-employed, you've got some tools and some ideas already for what works.
Yeah. I think great tips there. And the funny thing you said just at the start there about finding something that you're interested in, because that's the thing that will keep you going, right? Having the passion, etc. But I get the funny thing I get from young people, it's an 80-21 or stuff. That's why I'm not interested in anything, and that's an interesting one. And then I say to them, okay, that's fine. You're not interested in anything, but what are you good at that you do naturally? You do social media. You're on Snapchat all day. You're on Instagram. There's people that don't know how to do that, and you can help them. That's all it is, isn't it? What is a business? People helping people do something, right?
Definitely. I mean, for me, it's marketing. And an example I'll give is someone running a coffee shop. Now, they may love coffee and all the different styles and ways that you can make coffee at the moment, and they want to bring their coffee in from different parts of the world and roast it themselves and all of that good stuff. But they don't like Instagram, or they don't like talking about it online. They want people to come in and drink the coffee and talk to them face to face. Well, that's fine. Someone else loves Instagram and loves taking pictures of coffee and putting it out there and posting it. So get that someone else to do that for you, and you make your coffee.
Exactly.
You don't have to do everything. And there's someone else that actually is really good at doing the thing that you don't particularly want to do.
But that's exactly how the world works, isn't it? The world is... That's the system that we live in, right? The symbiotic system called the universe is all these people with a skill. I have a skill, and you put me in front of technology, and I'll navigate that very quickly. You put me under a bonnet of a car, I haven't got a clue, and that's the same as a mechanic who hasn't got a clue with the technology, but he knows the engine.
Need someone to do it that has that skill or passion to do that for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the funny thing as well is that when they say, okay, I just don't know what to do, I'll say, why don't you just text 10 people and say, is there anything you need help with? Done. And then get resourceful. There will be people that will looking for someone to do something, right?
It's an interesting point that you make, because you may not see your skill. You may not be aware of your skill, but other people will see it. So like you say, if you've texted those 10 people, they're likely to be 10 people that you're close to, or know you and understand you. And they'll say, help me with this because I know you're really good at that. And you might get 6 of those 10 that are all talking about the same thing. And you didn't realize that actually your friends or your family love you for that thing that you didn't think was an amazing skill, but that's the thing they want you to do. And that could be the way you find your niche.
Yeah. Your mojo, right? Your way, the way to shine your light in this world brightly. And I think it's also having that ability to look within yourself and see, have the humility to say, actually, I am quite good at this, rather than keep saying, actually, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at this. I know one of my friends who does sports betting. Now, he's for a long time, he's hidden it because he doesn't want people to know he bets on that. But I said, the way you read games, the way you read horses, that's quite a skill to do that. I know the outcome's not the best in terms of losing a lot of money, which he has. But I said, but if you could shift that thinking into something more productive, in terms of how can you use that ability to analyze games, analyze histories, because it's like, and I said, why don't you look at stock markets? Because stock markets is the same thing. You analyze historic trends, you look into companies, and then you invest. And hopefully he's going to listen to that, but I don't know. You can take the horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Absolutely.
Now, if we project ourselves forward now, Kofi, if we were having this conversation, okay, in 2024, all right? So now I'm asking you to forward project, yeah? So you come back on as a guest, and I say, Kofi, so you've told me the last 3 years have been amazing for you. What's been going on to make them amazing? For that statement to be true, for you to be then, what do you think you would like to be saying?
I think the reason things have been amazing for me is because I've had situations that have occurred that haven't been great, but I've taken control and I've said, well, this is what I'm going to do in this situation. And I think control makes you feel good. I think stress comes when you're not in control of a situation. Things come along that you can't affect, you can't deal with. Someone else or something else has created that situation and it causes anxiety and stress. But if you can take control and say, well, I'm doing this, then you can be in a much better frame of mind. You can get things done. I hope to be in a situation where I need to make decisions. So I've been mentoring recently, whereby a young marketing exec, I talk to an hour a week, and we talk through different marketing things that they might want to understand or learn about, or how to work your way through the corporate life, and things that as a early career person in your 20s, you might have wished for someone with some experience just to tell you, oh, I've got this situation, what do I do? Because you've not seen it before. But a mentor can help you and just shine a bit of a light for you in front of you. So I need to decide, do I want to hopefully take on employees? Do I want to grow my business? Do I want to mentor people that I've employed to help them and give them a career path? Or do I want to stay hands-on and do the marketing? Because that mentoring and leading and coaching will involve a lot of administration. So your role changes from doing the marketing to actually managing other people doing it. And I've spoken to people who have got to positions within their own businesses where they've stopped doing the thing they were passionate about, and they're now just managing the business. So I would hope to be in a situation where I need to make a decision of, am I growing, or have I reached a level where I can have the lifestyle I want, and I sort of stay on a steady path. So I think the key word is what I started with, control. I want to be able to control what I do. I don't know quite yet where I'm going to be in 3 years' time, but what I want to be able to do is give myself the ability to decide where I want to be in 3 years' time.
And staying connected to why as well, right? staying connected to the why and the reason that you started this in the first place. Like you said, mentioned, people continue down a business path and forget why they started in the first place, and they eventually find themselves in something that maybe they don't enjoy anymore, they don't care about, and they're doing because that was the trajectory. Maybe society told them, you know, you need to take on staff and you need to become a manager or whatever. And I know even for myself, you know, the business grew to a certain point and I was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. And I had to consciously shrink it back down again so that I could continue to do the things that I enjoy, that lit me up, and that for the clients that we were dealing with, that's the reason they came to us in the first place, you know? So yeah, I get that fine balance, and hopefully you'll find an answer to that. And I'm sure as time goes on, you'll start working things out in terms of what's going to be best for you as a person, right? Now,
absolutely.
Is it just talking about, you know, where we are right now, being present and being in the situation that you're in? What do you think you're most grateful for right now?
I think it's my parents and the upbringing they gave me. I remember, you know, as a little kid, I'm not going to remember exactly what age, but, you know, kind of 6, 7 or whatever, you might go into a shop with your mum and you might want something and not want to sort of go and buy it and whatever, and your mum would give you the money and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, and your mum would just be like, be bold, push you forward and be bold, talk to the shopkeeper, tell them what you want and buy it. And it might only have been, you know, I didn't know which packet of sweets I was going to get, but then talk to the shopkeeper and say, I'd like a packet of sweets. And they might say, oh, what do you like? And I was, oh, I like sharp, you know, stuff. And they're like, oh, we've got these citrus refreshers or whatever. But the point was, it was being pushed forward. Be bold. Go and talk to people. Don't be shy, you know, and not go forward. But also, I think having a secure upbringing in terms of, actually, if I was out playing football and I got injured, or if something had gone wrong at school, or, you know, if I was having a tough time with friends who I might not have felt were friends at that moment, I knew that at home, everything would be fine. You know, once you got through that door, everything's cool. So that, I think that's really helpful and useful. And absolutely, I appreciate that not everyone has that comfortable, supportive home life. So, you know, it's not, I've benefited and I really appreciate that. And I know it's something that's been helped me to push forward. But I think, you know, even if you don't have that, then it's looking to get that somewhere, whether that's the friends at school, it's a teacher, it's the youth centre, it's other people that can give you some sense of security, that can, you know, give you that base of, actually, things are okay.
Got that. And if I could have the ability to bring in, for you to be able to spend one day with anyone, past, present, or future, like spend a day with them, to ask them and spend a day with them, who would that person be and why?
Yeah, I've got lots of people flashing through my mind at the moment.
One.
Because it's where you are and what you need. You know, in one situation, I might need something different to another situation. That's a tough one. It's not an easy one. I think
to ask easy questions.
Okay, one that springs to mind, and it's because of my name. So when people meet me, they'll say, "Oh, what's your name?" So, "Oh, Kofi." And what's that? I said, "Kofi." "Oh, like Kofi Annan." Yeah. And I say, "Yeah, like Kofi Annan." So, yeah, why not meet Kofi Annan? You know, he did some great things as UN General Secretary. A great demeanour, someone that can sort of bring people together, and in very, very difficult, pressurized situations, come up with some solutions. So yeah, let's go for a namesake.
Perfect. Well, it makes sense. You gave an explanation to that, so that makes sense. Okay, now if we can peek behind the curtains a little bit as well, is there anything that you're proud about that not many people know?
You see, we started off, why marketing? And I said it was because I like telling stories and I like communicating. So lots of things I do tell people. As I'm trying to think of something that I haven't really talked about or told people. That's a difficult one because I'm a very sort of open person, and I like to share, and I think there's a lot of benefits. You don't want to overshare, but there's a lot of benefit in sharing and talking things through. If things are tough or difficult, or if things have gone well, there can be good things. So I don't tend to hide things, or hide might be the wrong word. I don't tend to
gloss over things.
Yeah, I'm not hiding my light.
Yeah.
See, now I'm talking and not answering the question. It's difficult. Things that people don't know. I'm one of those people, for better or for worse, that if I've seen someone doing something really well, I'll say to them, do you know, that was brilliant. I loved that. And that was really good. I'm not shy or embarrassed to say to people, do you know, I couldn't have done that. And that was great. And at the same time, I'm not shy to say to people, do you know, I've done this, and you might want to, look at this situation. Hopefully that's inspirational, or it can help someone to think, well, actually things are possible. So I'm very much one for, blowing someone else's trumpet, blow my own trumpet. So yeah, tough question. I'm comfortable to carry on, and if something comes to me, then I'll drop it in.
No problem at all. That's fine. So I'm gonna go into a 10 quick fire question round now. Okay, so it's where I'm going to ask you 10 questions and you just answer in whatever comes to mind first. Okay, even if it doesn't make sense, just answer it that way. That's not a problem. Okay, fine. Okay, there we go. If you could get a yacht, what would you call it?
Gemini.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
7.
What is your favorite song?
All This Love That I'm Giving, Gwen McRae.
What is your best feature?
My energy.
What would you do if you had 15 minutes of world fame?
Get people to help each other and support each other. Inspire people to get together.
How do you define happiness?
Sorry, how do I?
Define happiness.
Being comfortable with where you are. Yeah.
If you could access a time machine, where would you go and why?
Ooh. So I've got a flippant answer, and that would be 1955, so I can drive a DeLorean, because it looks like a fun car and it'll take you lots of places. But more than that, I think the 50s would be a very interesting time, because after the Second World War, the world changed and there was a lot of change and development, whether that was countries gaining their independence or whether it was countries rebuilding themselves and developing and becoming new types of powers out of war to industrial power, that kind of thing. So I think a time of change, so the 50s, where there was a bit of sort of renewal and let's improve things.
What is your favorite summer activity?
I'm caught between two of playing football with my mates or dancing in a field with my mates. And I think both are the same, actually. They're outside and they're with my friends. So that's the thing. Yeah, being outside with my friends.
What is your dream car?
See, that's a tough one. There's so many cars.
Only one.
Let's go for a Porsche 911 because I'm old.
And if you could write a book about your life, what would it be called?
Just do it. Get on with it.
I thought it'd be that. I was going to say that before you did. But obviously Nike took it before you did there, Kofi.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now there's a couple more questions I'd like to ask you, just to get a deep insight into how you think and how you come into the world. So we're going to project now 100 years into the future, and you're now at the last moments of your life. Now, you don't have enough energy to speak, but you have enough energy to write down 3 words. Now, these 3 words have resonated with you all your life. They've helped you, and you hope by sharing them, they'll help the people that are listening. What would those 3 words be for you, and why?
They would be share, support, act. And the reason for that is kind of, as I just said, just do it, get on with it. So that's the act. It's like you can spend all day thinking about it, get on with it, do it. And actually, if it falls down, build it up again, do something. Share and support are very much about, actually, very seldomly do we do something alone. Do we make a success or fail on our own? And working with other people and helping other people is really important. So share and support. So don't just get involved in things and share in terms of your emotion or your skills or your energy or your wealth or food, sitting around the table and eating together. Wow, that can be a really good thing, but support as well. It's this kind of idea of paying forward. Don't always expect something back, but help other people, support other people, and don't do it to get something, but you never know that support down the road might come back to you in a way you were not expecting. So absolutely share, support, act.
Yeah, perfect. Well explained as well. Thank you. And this podcast is called Bigger Than the Hustle, and right now you're bigger than the world. So I've connected you with this microphone to 7.58 billion people on this planet. They can all hear you. They're all conscious. They're all awake. There's no language barrier, and they're all eagerly waiting to hear what you've got to say. If I could share this microphone for the next 30 seconds, what would your message be to the world?
I would say I'm Ghanaian, I'm British, I'm European, I'm African, I'm from Nottingham. I feel at home whether I'm in Liverpool, LA or Lima. What I'm saying really is this is our planet, and anyone should believe that they can achieve something, and be your infinite self. Don't limit your dreams or ambition. Work hard with others to reach your goals and help them achieve theirs. And kind of as I've been saying as we've gone along, some setbacks are a lesson and they strengthen you. And you may not realize that until you're in a situation where you require that experience. But experience life and encourage others to do the same.
Brilliantly said, Kofi. And through our time together, I could see threads of that last statement coming through in everything you spoke about. So keep sharing your positivity, keeping the light you are in the world you're in. And I know the universe looks after people like you because it needs to have that positivity around. So thank you for the way you come into the world. Thank you for the things you do and being your authentic and honest self, especially with us today. Just before we go, is there anything else you'd like to say?
You see, now you've got me thinking about this thing that people don't know about me that I'm proud of, and I'm still struggling, because as a communicator, as a marketer, that's what I do. I tell people about situations and about things. Is there anything else I want to say? Thank you for the opportunity. You know, it's great. It's great to be able to hopefully share a bit of positivity and, you know, as I've said, you know, help and support. You know, if any of my words are, you know, chiming with people and it helps them to get on with it, to do it, to strive and achieve, and to fail. Failure is part of the situation, you know, then you learn, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or actually I should have worked with that person, or should have gone this way. That's fine. You know, when you contacted me, you asked me about things that had helped me in my life. And I think sport absolutely is the number one thing that, you know, has really helped me in terms of, you learn to win, you learn to draw, you learn to lose. And sometimes you do lose. You might not like it, but you have to accept it and then go and train and try harder to make sure you win next time. Mm. So don't be afraid to lose, but try to win.
But enjoy taking part, whichever way the outcome is, right?
Enjoy taking part, but enjoy winning.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Kofi. Thank you for sharing your time with us. I know you are a busy person, and it's good that you've given time to share your light with the rest of the world. So thank you again for that. What I'll be doing as well for this, I'll be sharing Kofi's details on the show notes if you do want to reach out to him to talk about anything he's talked about, or obviously to have a conversation. I'm sure he'll be open to that. So, you know, please reach out. Right. This is Bigger Than the Hustle, and I'm Bhavik Patel. I'm your host. And a few thoughts to leave you with before we go. Big energy leads to big thoughts lead to big ideas lead to big actions, and big actions lead to a big life. So keep thinking big. Until next week, goodbye.
If you can open your heart and feel from your heart the people around you, the nature around you, the world around you, if you can be in tune with that, truly all will be well.